Deadpool for Pete Hegseth as Trump's defense secretary has reached a fevered pitch, and it could be Hegseth out in the matter of hours, and maybe Governor Ron DeSantis in as defense secretary. You're here on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok with some new reporting. Every day, every hour, it seems, there is negative information about the character and fitness of Pete Hegseth, who's currently, at least for now, on Fox and Friends to be the defense secretary. We've reported it all dutifully here on the MeidasTouch Network. It's reached a fevered pitch. There was reporting that Pete Hegseth was being pushed out by his own transition team for Donald Trump because they are upset that he didn't tell them about the rape allegation against him, nor the police report about the 2017 incident he had in his back pocket. That is new reporting. I also reported that I thought it was the death knell for his candidacy that his own lawyer, Tim Parlatore, had taken to the news media and apparently was trying to defend him, but with faint praise. In other words, Tim Parlatore said about the new allegations that are being reported in the New Yorker magazine about a series of women who have complained about Pete Hegseth and his sexual misconduct, alleged sexual misconduct, his alleged public intoxication, his alleged getting up on a stage at a strip club, his alleged having sexual relations, unwanted sexual relationships with people in his organization, his alleged fiscal mismanagement of two different veterans organizations that kicked him out. All of that has kind of reached a crescendo. And Tim Parlatore, his own lawyer, as I reported a couple of days ago, he didn't say, my guy didn't do it, my guy's not guilty. He said, let me read you a statement from Mr. Hegseth's advisor. I'm like, uh-oh, the lawyer is backing out of the room, everybody. That I knew was a bad sign. If you're playing hangman, we're getting close to the end of that set of letters. So the reporting, there was kind of twin reporting in the last 48 hours or 24 hours that I thought signaled that we're done with Hegseth, or Trump is done with Hegseth. First of all, out of the blue, we get the report that Donald Trump has agreed with his transition team to sign the final transition agreement, which is mandated by law to be signed by the incoming administration to allow the Department of Justice and the FBI to brief under a top secret clearance the people that are coming into the government and to do FBI background checks of all of the candidates. Susie Wiles, the incoming chief of staff for as long as she lasts, she's got a lot of egg on her face right now, as does the transition team. And I think they're going to try to use the FBI to give them cover to say, oh, well, we wanted Pete Hegseth, we wanted Matt Gaetz, we wanted fill in the blank, but the FBI, Biden's FBI came back with a bad report. We just can't go forward and blame, of course, Biden in the remaining days of the Biden administration. I think they needed cover, and Susie Wiles needed cover to give the axe to Pete Hegseth. And now, while they're doing the FBI background checks, the Biden FBI that Donald Trump wants to completely hollow out and put Kash Patel in front of, but now that FBI is okay to do the background checks. It's cover. It's a cover story. They need to get rid of Hegseth. I mean, the reporting that I did a couple of days ago is that the transition team was shocked that they were not told about this. They didn't do their due diligence. This is what happens when you don't do any due diligence. And you just push people out there like Matt Gaetz and run it up the flagpole and see if anybody salutes. And now Pete Hegseth. This is going to be the first time in a transition history that two different cabinet members within 2 weeks of each other both got pulled as nominees. And there's more, because as soon as Hegseth's out of the way, and maybe replaced by Ron DeSantis, put a pin in that for a minute, I'll come back to that. As soon as they're out of the way, then we can just train our fire on Tulsi Gabbard, on RFK Jr., on Dr. Oz, and the others for the health department positions. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe a half of Donald Trump's originally nominated people will survive. Either they'll pull themselves before confirmation or they'll die a slow death during the Senate confirmation hearing itself in front of the public. I mean, right now, they're just pulling out because they know they don't have the votes for these people. Let me tell you about a company that's coming up swinging on behalf of American family farms and your family's food security. Moink. The business is simple. Moink's meat comes from animals raised outdoors where a pig is free to be a pig. born, raised, and harvested right here in the United States of America. And that's saying something because in general, other than moinks, 99% of chicken, 95% of pork, and 78% of cattle are raised in feedlot or confinement buildings. Their farmers are given an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, and they deliver meat straight to your doorstep at prices you can actually afford. And moink farmers are in a class by themselves. 2% of Americans are farmers, yet 100% of us eat. Support American family farms and join the moink movement today at moinkbox.com/legalaf right now and get free wings for life. They're the best wings you'll ever taste, and they're for free, but for a limited time. Spelled MOINK box.com/legalaf. That's moinkbox.com/legalaf. So when I read that Tim Parlatore first, the lawyer for Pete Hegseth, had backed away from sort of vigorously defending his own client, I was like, that's a canary in the coal mine moment. And then Trump transition teams announcing that Pete Hegseth's going to have to go on Fox News for an interview to try to salvage his candidacy. There's no candidacy to salvage. He's done. Put a fork in him. This is like in sports when the owner of the football team says, I've got tremendous confidence in coach and, he's got my backing for the rest of the year. Within 48 hours, that coach is getting canned. Same thing with Hegseth. He's done. I give it 24 hours. Maybe by the time this hot take is up and running on the MeidasTouch network, I might have to do a quick report and update that he's out. Now, the interesting twist here is DeSantis. Now, for those that don't follow this closely, DeSantis is on a two-term only limit in Florida. His term is almost up in another year or so. So he's done as governor, one way or the other. He can't run for governor again. You get 2 terms, that's it. So he had to look for his next job. I had thought that maybe he would appoint himself to be Marco Rubio's replacement for the remaining term of the Senate seat in Florida, and then move that over, and stay in the Senate seat. But there's also, as we know, reporting that Donald Trump wants that Senate seat for his daughter-in-law or somebody with a last name Trump, like Lara Trump, who is the head of the Republican National Committee. So how do you clear the seat and don't have the public fight between DeSantis wanting the seat and giving it to Lara Trump? You appoint DeSantis into the cabinet at a very high level, the Department of Defense, which is a nice consolation prize from Senate. You slide Lara Trump into the Senate seat. She then has to run in a couple of years for that seat, and you've solved the problem. So the DeSantis thing is not just, I think, a ridiculous rumor. I think it solves for a problem, solves the equation for Donald Trump in opening the seat for Lara Trump, which the governor would appoint before he left office. And then after he did that, look at this chess match, he would then go into the cabinet as defense secretary. He has a military background. I think he was in the Marines at one time. And that's a plum job. I mean, the big 4 cabinet positions, one of them is defense. So this is an odd bedfellows, right? The DeSantis-Trump war, but DeSantis is trying to find a way to run for president in 2028 and to get close to MAGA again, because MAGA rejected him in the primaries. So this is a perfect way for DeSantis to curry favor with MAGA world, to set himself up for an open primary, which would include J.D. Vance and DeSantis, having served, let's say, 4 years as defense secretary, and the rest. So this, just look at this chess match, right? This multiple level chess match that we're watching right here. So it would be Hegseth out. Who cares about him? He's done. DeSantis in. DeSantis as governor puts Lara Trump in her seat. DeSantis is then set up to run against J.D. Vance. The loser here is probably J.D. Vance, who thought he's the natural heir for the mantle of MAGA, but now he's going to have to fight with DeSantis, who, if he does a halfway credible job as defense secretary, has a very good platform to run for the presidency in 2028. I'm going to follow all of this. Watch for my next reporting, either here on the MeidasTouch Network or Legal AF, the YouTube channel, in collaboration with MeidasTouch. Go over there, hit the free subscribe button. And between the two places, we'll be updating regularly on these on these particular reports. The next thing you're going to see from me, I'm telling you, is going to be Hegseth out and maybe DeSantis in, and I've given you the reasons why. Thank you for joining. I'm Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.